Hey guys, it's Ben here for Next Level Producer. It's so good to be back again. I just got back from a month in Portugal with my family. We enjoyed the sunshine, we enjoyed the beach, and I also got to work on some music as well. I brought my laptop, I brought my headphones and a microphone, just some simple stuff. And now I'm back in my home studio. Later this week, I will get back to my studio in Arnhem, but today I was inspired to record this video for you and show you one of my new favorite plugins, the Universal Audio Capitol Mastering Compressor. This is the latest release by Universal Audio, and it's an incredible sounding compressor, which I love to show you. It's included in the Universal Audio Spark subscription, and this video is not sponsored by Universal Audio in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just really enthusiastic about this, and I would love to show you how I use this in my upcoming single, Your Love Is Amazing. This is a song I actually wrote more than 10-12 years ago, something like that. And I back in the day I recorded it, but it just didn't feel right. It wasn't quite there yet. But just before I left for Portugal, I was walking my dog, and this song popped back into my brain again, and I was hearing a completely new arrangement, and this is something magical that happens sometimes. I had this with my song Going Back to California, which I actually wrote in my dreams, and this was the case with this song, or the arrangement in particular as well. All of a sudden I was hearing this arrangement really clearly, and it sort of clicked like, oh, this is how the song is supposed to be. So I'm just going to play you a little bit of this song as I recorded it, and I on the final day, the last day before I left for Portugal, I had a couple of hours that I could use to record this song. So I recorded this entire song in only 4 hours, and I'm going to do another video where I'm going to do a deep dive. But as you can tell, it's a really simple production. There aren't a lot of plugins going on this Logic Pro session, and I'm doing mixing and mastering in the same session as well. This is just for efficiency, and because I was in the zone in the moment, and in my mind, mixing and mastering, or recording or producing or writing for that matter, they aren't really separate processes. I know that in the music industry, those processes are separated a lot of the times, but sometimes they can blend together. Actually, it's my opinion that they should blend together. That if you are writing your song, that's just as important how the song is going to be structurally or lyrically as how the mixing or the mastering is going to turn out. Those are processes that should be aligned together. So anyway, that's why I did this whole thing in the same session. And this is the Universal Audio Capitol Mastering Compressor, which I use as sort of a final compressor before going into the FGX2 by Slate Digital, which is my loudness processor. It's not just a limiter, but it's a loudness processor. And we're not going to go into that plugin, but there's something about this plugin besides the usual controls that you can see on the screen, which I am using to sort of inflate my track and to get more of the magic harmonic distortion out of this song. So without further ado, I'm going to play you a little bit of the song. I'm not going to give away everything yet, and just listen to how it sounds and how it makes you feel.
I see the sun on your face. Good morning, my love.
All right, just a little bit of the intro and the first verse for you. So as you can tell, there isn't any compression going on. The gain reduction meters aren't showing any compression, which doesn't mean there isn't any compression going on, because sometimes it can compress just a little bit, but not enough, so the gain reduction meters are starting to move. But I'm not going to explain how this compressor works, because you already know that, and you can just experiment with it and find out yourself. So these are just the obvious controls. But what's good to know is that I am using this compressor not to actually compress, but to add a lot of color and to make my track sound bigger, more open, more bright is not the right word, but it sort of opens up the track. So let me play you the track again without this compressor, and I'm going to turn it on and off so you can actually hear the difference of what it's adding. So this is without. With.
We're waking up, I see the sun on your
Without.
face. Good morning, my love.
With. So this really brings the track to life, and that's what I love about this mastering compressor. I'm only using this at like 35-40% with the mix knob. I'm blending this in just a little bit, and again, I'm not adding any compression, but just the color of this thing brings it to life. And what the unexpected feature of this plugin was that I love the most about this compressor is actually the saturator. The saturator adds harmonic distortion, which helps in a couple of ways. It helps to make it sound richer and to make it sound harmonically more pleasing by adding harmonic distortion, but also it adds more perceived loudness. So it sounds louder, it feels bigger, because it adds more frequencies, more harmonic frequencies, which stack up and which will make the song sound bigger. So again, with this saturator, I'm only adding about 40%, and please keep in mind that this is separate from the mix knob. So the mix knob controls how much of the compressor you are hearing, but the saturator is sort of separate from that. And I love how they modeled this compressor. I saw a video about this plugin where the guy was telling me that it's modeled after the custom built mastering compressors for the 4 Capitol Mastering Studios. So it's a completely custom built compressor, but they did something magical with this thing where it really sounds like an analog compressor, which I love. So I'm using the saturator again to get back on track, to add more richness, but also to make it sound bigger and louder, which helps with the overall loudness level. Since I'm doing mastering in this session as well, I'm mastering, just for your information, at minus 10 dB LUFS, so that's fairly reasonable loudness for this particular kind of track. And the saturator helps to reach that loudness level easier. So let me play the track again, and I'm going to turn the saturator on and off so you can hear what's going on with this thing. Without. With. Without.
We're waking up, I see the sun on your face.
With.
Good morning, my love.
Without. With.
I feel like a winner since you stepped in my life today.
Let's increase the shape.
It's gonna be great. Everything you are still
Decrease.
fascinates me.
So So this shape control is actually kind of interesting because this controls how much of that richness is being added. So of course you can add too much, and with some production it will probably distort, which you could use creatively as well. But with this particular track, I find it about 40% works. But I think this is a really great thing. So I would say I'm using this compressor mainly for the saturator, and this is for me the unexpected benefit of using the Capitol Mastering Compressor. Not just the compression, of course, I experimented with that as well, but on this track it didn't really need a lot of compression. Excuse me, I'm using the API 2500 as well, which isn't adding a lot of compression or any as well. This is just this track needs to breathe. This track needs to sound big and warm and like a hug. And so the saturator really helps. Okay, so I'm really curious to hear in the comments what you guys think. Have you already tried this compressor? And if so, what are your thoughts on this? Are you using this in your productions and in your mixing or mastering sessions? Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you. And if you like my approach to music production, songwriting, if you like what you hear, maybe we could work together on your next release. I'm not just doing production, songwriting, mixing and that kind of stuff, but I also have a one-on-one mentoring program where I would like to work together with you for 6 or 12 months to work on your next release. That could be a couple of singles or an album, but to really work intensively and to try to get more of your magic out of your music so you can reach your audience at a deeper level and to create your best work ever. And this could be in Dutch or in English, depending on what language you speak, of course, and where you live. But this we could work together in my studio here in the Netherlands, or also on Zoom. And I would like to guide you and coach you through this process and be your producer or your co-producer, and to help you get your potential out of your music so you could reach more people and to communicate who you are as a person or as an artist. So if that speaks to you on some level, and if you think what I do sounds cool, and you would love to just have a chat with me about this, so we can get to know each other a little bit more, I would love to hear your music as well. Just contact me by clicking on the link that I am going to put here in the description. Maybe an email or something. Send me an email. I'll put my email address down in the description. Just send me an email. I would love to hear from you, and would love to get to know you a little bit more by doing a Zoom call, for example. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on this compressor, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.